What's up?
If you're tuning in from last episode, this week's vastly different. Just vastly
If you're mad about my
different.
Afghani rant, I've reflected. I still feel the exact same. I haven't listened back, but I feel like
When you get passionate, when you get heated, we never know what's going to come
I
out of
still
you.
feel the same. I just, I'm aggressive, but it is what it is. You don't know the shoes I've walked in, people. Walk a mile in my shoes, motherfuckers.
Thank you all for listening. We are going to be discussing we're going to be discussing something very different than politics today. Although I guess there is some
Oh, I'm sure it'll come up.
it will because it is the season, right? Well, for the States. We're going to be talking about autumn and this time of transition because we are all experiencing this shift, especially as parents with a child in the mainstream education system. We are definitely feeling the shift and the impacts of that shift. And so it's had me in a lot of reflection on this transition out of summer and into the fall season. And really energetically, what does that mean for us? What does that look like? How does our bodies change? How does our circadian rhythms change? Our nutrition, our diet, all those kinds of things. And so I've been sitting every day just in contemplation and watching when I go for my morning walks, just watching the animals and the change in this plant species and just taking kind of inventory and really observing our climate so that I can understand the actual natural shifts that happen internally as a result of what's happening in the world around us. And autumn is actually connected to the element of water. So every season has a different connection to one of the four elements, and autumn is water. And
Is fire summer?
yeah, yes.
Air?
I think air, and then spring.
Earth? Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Earth
that
to
right?
spring. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
That'd make perfect sense.
I'd have to
actually.
double check, but
And then what's
that's what
ether? Dun dun dun. I guess
Creator?
it's the fabric that connects all
Yeah.
of the seasons
Yeah.
together.
The webbing.
I keep touching this pillow, but it must be Mika that was like. Anyway.
So the water element is linked to our bodies with the transition of the season. So we actually start to become maybe a little bit more mucusy. We might start to get phlegm. We can start to get colds this time of year. We can also have some inflammation in our joints with our body transitioning into more colder weather. And I believe just naturally that's just how our system gets upgraded to prepare for the winter. Like getting colds doesn't worry me. Like that was like an old, I don't know, maybe now a wives' tale around how to be scared of our bodies and to be scared and take all these medications if you're sick. But I just think that if we get ill, it's just our body's natural defense system turning on and doing its magic and giving our system a giant upgrade. And that's also how we build natural immunity. So the water element is also in relation to our emotions. Because in this time of transition, we are actually going through a stage of grief. Which is interesting because, you can feel it because there's a sense of kind of melancholy in the air. You know, the mornings are cooler and we can just kind of feel this energy, like things are changing. And grief is associated with the ending of something, the loss of something, the finality of something. And we have been spending, as farmers now, spring is when we're planting our seeds. Summer is when we are nourishing the land and taking care of the growth of the plants and the blossoming. And then the fall is the harvest. And then the winter is the rest. But the fall, the harvest time is the end of those plants. Our plants are all dying off in the garden. Everything's coming to a close. The trees will eventually lose their leaves. And so we get this sense of grief and melancholy because there's maybe a bit of sadness for the loss of the warmth of the summer and the heat. And all the activity and celebration and high energy. And we're actually teetering off because the amount of sunlight is going down and more darkness is coming up. So we're actually in the state of the fall equinox, which is actually a pagan tradition of, what is it called? Mabon?
I'm no pagan. I don't celebrate pagan.
No, but it's interesting because it's around the harvest time, Mabon, but it's in Celtic origins. But they celebrate the fall equinox because it's the day of the year when the dark and the light are equal. And that's when they celebrate and bring their harvest together to just to be in gratitude, to thank the year, thank the abundance from the crops, which is not far off from like kind of how we celebrate Thanksgiving through food and feast, right? And with gratitude and prayer. So it's just the time of the year is when that happens, right? We're giving a lot of thanks and appreciation for what we've received from God and what we've received from nature and the land. So this is also a really nice time for appreciation and gratitude. So lots of time, like when we reflect and we're pulling everything out of our garden and we're like, oh my gosh, we have so many pumpkins. We still have so many watermelons.
You know what? We don't have so many
What?
weed trees.
We didn't
Budding,
have a good
big,
abundant
beautiful
year
weed
for
trees. I'm so crushed. This is definitely a time of year for reflection, and I am reflecting hard. I'm reflecting mostly on how much abundance I had last year and how much I smoked this year in direct correlation to how much I cultivated. And it just seemed like I had such an abundance that I should overindulge, which I certainly did. And now I'm fretting because I have these very small, like midget type plants. And although some of them have some promising buds on them or colas, a couple of them are like basically just one big cola. Yeah, I'm feeling very grateful that I have a cousin, shout out Jen, who also is an avid gardener, weed
cannabis
gardener,
enthusiast.
cannabis enthusiast. Thank you. And she said, "Don't worry, I got you. Whatever you need." And I was like, "Oh man, thank God, Whew, thank God." But she's also the one that fucked this whole thing up in the first place. Well, I might remind her that every year she does my weed plants, and last year I didn't send her the message that said like, "Hey, don't forget my weed plants." Like, and then she didn't do them for me. And then I was like, in February, I'm like, "Yo, how are my babies coming?" She's like, "What babies?" Like, I didn't, or maybe it was March. And I was like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about? You do my weed plants every year." She's like, "You didn't say anything." I was like, "Oh my God, my neja. What's the matter with you, huh? You don't know how to grow weed plants?" Anyways, that sucked so she didn't grow them for me. So I had to get them from an alternate source, which you never know where you never know. I know where all her stuff's coming from. She's so brilliant with it. And then I had to go get it somewhere like offshore garbage. And we had the flood in June, which set back some growth, and they stayed pretty wet for the month of June and July. Remember how wet the soil was? Anyway.
This sounds like a you problem. All of that.
Sounds like what do you mean that's a you problem? That's
Well,
a you problem too, bro. Whose weed do you smoke?
1,000%.
So it sounds like a fucking us problem.
Yeah. Well, this next year, like, did you take anything that you're going to learn so that next year is going to be better?
I told my cousin, I said, "Listen to me." I said, "From now on, you don't wait for my call. I want them. Every year when you start the shit, you have me in mind. Deal?" Deal. So that was one thing I learned. Get that shit out of the way. And then the other thing I learned was, maybe not to overindulge. Maybe that I indulged a little bit too much. The other thing I learned was don't wait. By the time you really are worried that something's wrong, it's already wrong. So I definitely let them get too, I let it go too far before I really was concerned. Like I should have pulled back that straw and mulch like 2-3 weeks before I did because I didn't know. I should have been checking that. Like
honestly, there's just so much learning to do. Like,
yeah, I know.
And you know what? This is the reality of farming is that you might have a really good crop one year. You might get so much abundance like we did with zucchinis last year. And then this year we didn't have a lot of zucchinis. There was a lot of disease on the plant. And we had an abundance of weed the year before, not so great this year. But then we had other really good crops this year. So
I lost like at least a quarter of our tomato crop to a rot this year too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's what chemtrails are spraying and it's coming from above because we had a great irrigation system this year.
Yeah.
So our plants shouldn't have had we didn't have
any mildew on them.
We had a little bit, but not very much on the pumpkin. Like not very much, but we had a little bit. But way better than what we would typically have had last year with the overhead sprinkling.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's now. And I had a friend here, Donna, and she looked at them. And this is a lady who's been gardening. She's in her late 60s, and she'd never seen that before. She wasn't familiar with what it was. I just think that's kind of odd. You know, I don't know. I just think that's kind of odd. Usually they would be like, "Oh yeah, that's." This and she's like, I don't know, I haven't seen that before. So I thought that was odd, but anyway, so
well, I mean, every
I
year it just brings more learning, and then as we go into winter, that's when we sit in reflection and we think about, okay, well, what do we need to change, what do we need to try, what was that about, and we just adjust. And right, that's the time of self-reflection, which is what we're heading into. This is the time of year where we start to go inwards and prepare for winter, which is where we essentially hibernate and rest and recover. And I understand that so much more not living in the city and being more connected to nature and farming, because we are so much more connected to the natural rhythms of nature and the natural seasons that we want and look forward to winter's rest. I mean, there are some farmers, market gardeners that will produce food all year round and keep it going. But even was it the Market Garden book, he was saying that producing that amount of food constantly and working all year round is actually more exhausting, and farmers look forward to the rest.
Yeah, he could grow if he wanted to, but he chooses not to.
And that was a big learning curve for us. And also how we are now trying to focus more on what we want to focus on, like harness our energy into just a handful of things instead of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, like try to get it all in, like we're just starting to like, nah, you know what? We don't need to can that. We don't need to do this. We don't need to freeze dry that. Let's just focus on the things that we want.
Yeah. I've just been feeling a bit overwhelmed by it all. And I think it's smart to
prioritize.
Yeah, I do.
I think you shared your garden plan on your Instagram for next year, right? Was it is there any specifics that you're going to try to focus on?
Okay, my handfuls. I probably have 2 handfuls of things that we are planning to grow. Mainly our staples to sustain us for the winter: potatoes, onions, garlic, carrots, beans, and then tomatoes because we can sauce.
Biggest day of the year.
And watermelons because we love watermelon.
Yeah. Which turned out great this year. We had such good abundance of watermelon. We still do.
We still do. We have
great.
Half a dozen.
I'd say at least.
Squash being another one, and corn.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, really, those were.
Did you say beans?
Yeah, I said beans. cucumber.
Yeah.
So those are the main ones. And then pie pumpkins.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
Yeah.
what we'll end up doing is I hope I've got some time. I'm hoping in the spring, maybe. Who knows? To try and work some of the big field, and because I would like to move some stuff out there.
So-
Like, you know.
Like one of our plots, like doing a plot.
Yeah,
out
like
back.
now that I'm more familiar with irrigation, like drip irrigation, we could easily put like a big pumpkin patch along the property.
That would be
like,
great.
Like around the hayfield or something like that, and then I could have one of those big 1,000 liter water containers, and then just bring water and fill it, and then have a drip system. So you just like come and water it when.
Yeah.
Right? Come and just turn it on every week or whatever, every 3, 6, 8, just whatever, whenever you need it.
Right. And sunflowers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just some stuff when you like, once you start growing pumpkins and whatnot on a larger scale, you like people. I don't know. Sometimes, I'm sure people will understand how much room they take up because they just go wild.
Yeah.
So having a pumpkin patch in a contained garden. And having like, how many plants do you think we would have had in there, give or take?
From seed, like how many? I did 6. That's 3 too many.
But was that like 6 pie and 6
Yeah.
jack-o'-lantern pumpkins or whatever?
Ooh.
So 12?
No,
or-
that's not right.
It seems like a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's everywhere. So I'm thinking that it would be better somewhere where it had a lot more room and it could really spread away from the animals, because the animals can kind of pick at it a little bit. The cows really like it. So anyway, but yeah, a larger scale.
This also, like at the end of harvest season is when we literally reestablish, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to do, what do we want to aim for next year. The winters really are time for deep contemplation and planning, because when it comes spring, we are planting seeds, right? Literally planting seeds and setting all of our plans for the summer season. But it all comes from reflecting here at this time of season in the autumn, and in the winter we start making plans and putting it onto paper, really. So autumn season, let's just think about this for a second. If you look around and you see the colors are starting to change, how beautiful it is, right? How it's like this burst of celebratory nature, singing. It's so beautiful. That's why so many people do like family photos in the fall. And same with the sunflowers, right? These beautiful colors, these all very warming, enriching colors. And then when the trees are done, they release. They let the leaves go. They drop the weight. And then the energy conserves down into the root system. So from the nature perspective, and we being nature ourselves, that's also happening for us. This is a time where we release what doesn't serve us. Autumn is a time for releasing, letting things go. What else did I write? Shifting, shedding, all those kinds of things, like uncloaking an old version of you. Think of, we plant our seeds in the spring. We work on all of our goals, blossoming all of our, whether it's goals or actual physical seeds. That's what we've been working on to achieve into the fall. And when autumn's here, we're reflecting, we're celebrating our successes, we're looking back on our achievements, but then we're also letting go of whatever doesn't serve our highest good now. We're releasing maybe an old version of us that's ready to die, right? An old identity, an old layer of us, person that liked to do X, Y, and Z before is now shifting out of that and stepping into a newer version and expanding themselves in different ways. So this is also a time where we can emotionally let go. We can physically let things go, like clean out our closets. But emotionally, what do I want to release that doesn't help me move forward, especially as I go into the winter season? Maybe I want to let go of my job. Maybe I want to let go of some of these relationships that just aren't they don't really build me up anymore. Maybe I want to be a little bit more firm with my time boundaries and not spend so much time with, going and doing this. And I want to start to focus more on maybe cooking or spending time with the kids. It's this starting to make these shifts at letting go of maybe the demands and those expectations that you've placed upon yourself all summer that aren't realistic going into the fall. Naturally, with the sun going down in daylight hours, our circadian rhythms start to change. Naturally, we want to rest more as well. So physically, we're maybe letting go of those, for me, like intense summer running and intense maybe powerlifting workouts outside, and maybe I'm focusing more on mobility or doing a different kind of movement, going into more yoga again. And I think I think it's important to know that this is what our bodies are, naturally tending to do when we are also going against that in a lot of ways with how the system operates, especially because now our daughter's in mainstream education institution, and that institution goes against our biological wiring, where they are now speeding up. They are now putting in this is where they're planting seeds for growth and educating, right? So they are actually in complete opposites to what our seasons are.
Yeah, I mean, she has to wake up just after 6.
She's waking up when it's dark out.
Pretty early for 13, 14, 15 to 18 years old. Like,
Yeah.
It's the time that they need to actually sleep in. So really, if we wanted to do it for them, we would do it from like 12 till 6 or something, 12 till 5.
Yeah. Yeah, when they're like developmentally, their body clocks are further, like they go to bed later, wake up later.
Yeah.
But as parents, we also have to go through this adjustment phase of our routines are off now. Mm-hmm. Our routine is now. So we're in this transition place of, well, now she's up before us.
Right.
And in the kitchen and going in the bathroom and doing this and more noise in the morning and versus us having our quiet morning. We do our routines. We look after the animals and we sit and have coffee. And now it's like not chaos, but it feels chaotic because it hasn't been the slow, calm, quiet mornings that we're used to. And so we are having to adjust to a new change. And even for you, Jess, the animals are not coming in for breakfast as early because the sun's not coming up yet. And so it's still dawn for them.
Yeah, so normally it's like between 6:30 and 7 that they're expecting their morning routine to begin. And then now it's like more 8:30, and I'm having to coax them. Like I'm having to call them. So I'm kind of wondering about switching my routine, like to try and switch things up, even though animals are very routine. So I'm kind of stuck on this cow stuff right now. So I don't know.
Jess is having a hard time with milking Mabel, our milking cow. We're trying to get her into a routine, but now she's breaking habit. So there again, this is like a lot of learning and another routine that we have to adjust to and change. And so our natural systems of how we've been operating, it has to adjust. So physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we are trying to attune to the change in weather, the change in our animals, and the change with our daughter's system being backwards. So there's a lot going on. And for parents out there that have also 9-to-5 jobs and kids in the mainstream education system, they are all in systems that are biologically opposite to what the season how we're supposed to be living with the seasons.
Right.
So this high energy rush into the fall, with new routines, new schooling, work, getting back on with, after summer holidays or whatever, it's all going against what we should actually be doing, which is starting to prepare for winter, which is slowing down a little bit, going into more introspective time, literally slowing down our activity levels. This is also why our bodies want to have more warm food. Like we naturally want to start having more soups to warm up our bodies because it's starting to get colder out. And so we're, instead of heating back up, that yang type of energy, which is the summer, we are supposed to be in the balance of the yang and yin energy in the in between season.
Mm-hmm.
So the yang is the sun, the heat, right, and the yin is the feminine, the calming, the cooling, and it makes sense because the fall and the fall equinox bringing the same amount of daylight and the same amount of night darkness, is the balance of the yang and yin energies. So, summer was high yang, low yin. So we are transitioning. This is very much also Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, but when we're shifting out of that high yang energy of summer, which is also the fire, the heat, the high activities, high energy, busy doing things, longer days, more food because we're expanding so much more energy. And then we have to shift. We are literally in transition because the winter is yin. The winter is more dominant in yin energy with longer darkness. So us in this transitory phase is also very, very challenging because a lot of people don't like transitions. A lot of people struggle with change. There's a lot of resistance to that because we like the comfort of knowing what's next. But in reality, nature is constantly changing, but it's designed perfectly and beautifully to always be in balance. We have been living in a system that creates imbalance. If we follow the natural seasons and the sacredness of the cycles of the seasons, we will be in balance. But when we operate in that 9 to 5 type rush, go, go, go energy, picking up the pace with school and all these social gatherings and social outlets and activities, we are going against our need for yin, our need to slow down, our need for introspection. So it's really fascinating to also be in the not battle, but the transition of you and I live in harmony with nature because we are self-employed and we can. We choose how much we want to work, when we want to work. That's our choice. And we work as farmers in sync with the seasons. Our daughter is choosing to be in high school that goes against biological wiring, and we want to support her with her decision. But we are all impacted by her lack of sleep, by her high stress, rushing, fast pace lifestyle of the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting journey for us in transition of supporting her while trying to hold compassion for all these changes, trying to not resist all these changes and not to hold resentment for all these changes, and to try to honor her soul's journey with needing this experience for herself. It's hard. This is the hard part of parenting, is knowing that they also have their own journey and their soul needs those experiences to learn and to help them grow and evolve. and we don't need to constantly corral our children as much as we just want to, because we know what's best for them. But ultimately, she needs to know what's best for herself. It's so hard loosening the reins and adjusting the morning routine so that there's harmony and not this imbalance. I have to still create balance even though she's in imbalance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I, as the parent and you, we have still that responsibility to create balance with her in the system, not imbalance.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're trying the best that we can, but
Yeah.
it is hard. It does make it challenging, but
I guess that the good thing is that we're always talking about it and we're always sitting back and reflecting on, okay, how do we need to make this routine better for us? How can I respond better? What can I do instead of just getting annoyed that she's got to get up early and changes and all this sounds and our house is small and she wakes us up and blah, blah, blah. It's very easy to get caught in the anger because I was there. It's very easy to get caught in the anger. And then the moment we sit back and reflect and go, it's okay. This is a time of change and I can accept that. Right? I think this is where, imagine all the trees were like, I'm not accepting losing my leaves. They'll never grow new ones. Right? There's a reason why we also need to let go. There's also a reason why we need to release that old version of us or the version of us from the summer, because it doesn't suit us going forward. It doesn't help us going forward. It's this is also the season in the medicine wheel, the snake. And the snake is what sheds its layer, its skin, right? And it does that in order so that it can grow. Every time it needs to grow, it's got to shed its skin.
Right.
The same thing is for us. And this is the trees are shedding their leaves. We are also shedding a layer of ourselves. We are all here to also let go of things that we don't need to carry forward. We need to lighten our own energy. So it's something I've been sitting back and kind of contemplating. What does that look like for me? What do I need to let go maybe physically? What do I need to let go emotionally? What emotional baggage am I still holding on to? What stubbornness, resentment, frustration that I'm carrying, maybe from being a parent or my own past. What is it that I'm still carrying that I need to try to let go of right now? Mentally, what can I let go of? I was just thinking of like resistances with all the change and mainly our daughters, because parenting requires us to let go of so much control. It's so hard. It's so hard. And letting go of control of her school uniform or how she cleans her room or how she cleans the dishes, how the school operates. Actually, this is a good point because her school created a gender-neutral bathroom from the girls' bathroom. From one of the girls' bathrooms, they converted it to a gender-neutral bathroom.
a Catholic school.
A Catholic school. So we've written the principal on this issue from a safety lens and
Also from a moral and value lens. Like, we are at a Catholic school. If we wanted to have litter boxes and accept furries, accept multiple genders, we would go to public school. But that's why Catholic people or people of Christian faith choose Catholic school.
right,
Because they're choosing a set of values that will be taught and embraced.
right,
Versus at public schools, they don't sing O Canada, they don't pray. Well, at Abby's school, they sing O Canada every morning and they pray. I don't see what's wrong with that, but when I'm sending my kid there, I'm doing it for that specific reason.
I thought public schools sang the national anthem.
I don't think so, but
I did
me,
all
know.
growing up.
I don't think
High
they do anymore.
school. Yeah,
They do in high school.
yeah, I did all of high school.
You don't look very sure to me. That face looks like a.
No, I'm just thinking. I know for sure I did in elementary because I watched the Jehovah Witness kids always step out of the classroom. I know we did in high school because I would do morning announcements. I remember here. No, I don't remember high school. I don't remember that in high school. Anyways, they do in high school, Alora. Okay,
In public
thanks.
schools?
Public schools too.
Is it mandatory? Like, does it? How do you know that? Where are you reading it?
Where do you think?
CBC?
No. The Canadian National Anthem will be sung at the beginning of every formal school assembly.
Oh,
Okay, keep going.
that's different.
Keep going. See, I love that I'm a fucking fact. I'm like
I
that.
know, I love it.
Fuck that. That doesn't fucking sound right. Let's go.
This is 2021. Ottawa School Advisory Group discusses dropping "O Canada."
Yeah. See, they don't see. I'm sure they don't.
Well, let's put a poll up for.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'd love
yeah,
to know
yeah.
if you're a teacher. I know we have teacher listeners. I'd love to know if it's like a by the school decision, like a principal type thing, or a region, because I'm pretty sure that it's not mandatory for at least high schools anyway. And I know that in public school, even they used to say the Lord's Prayer in public schools, but they don't even do that.
Yeah, I don't
So-
remember doing that when I was in school.
Let me tell you, I think those kids could use a little bit of that right now.
Well, the good news is that we are slowing down here on the farm with certain things. And we'll be slowing down, which means we have time for getting involved in other ways, which is also part of the seasonal change, is that getting involved in maybe municipal or council meetings, getting involved with the parent council meetings with the school board, getting involved maybe with the trails or, like this is opportunity for us also to walk the walk. And if we want to make change in the world, we have to create it ourselves. So getting involved instead of, sitting back on the lines and just yelling, we are going to get into the game. And we're going to, and I think that's also how we start to create changes from the bottom up, because everybody just trying to trust from the top down, it doesn't seem to work. We have to actually start to create some movement and momentum and create the change that we want to see in this world, which is why we moved to a homestead and started to change our lifestyle, and which has brought us into this podcast talking about autumn and getting involved in the parent council meetings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing with autumn, from a herbalist perspective, this was kind of interesting. Because the tree roots, because the energy of the trees, they lose the leaves and then they conserve their energy and they put it down into the root system. That's also why some herbalists forage for certain roots, maybe like burdock, but certain roots carry more medicinal properties, whether it's like calming or soothing qualities or grounding qualities to help us with this season.
Hey man, some of the things I pull, I can't believe. I think I don't know what all of it is, but I think God, this has got to be something, because it looks like a carrot, like it looks so big.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, like this can't just be like nothing here.
Well, it's a root vegetable, and there are a lot of you can eat
And
a
it's
lot
like
of
a weed.
Yeah, but you can eat there's wild carrot. You can eat.
Yeah.
You can roast burdock. You can eat a lot of plants. I think we're not raised to learn plants. We know labels. We know brands.
See, when
we
the
know
illegal
restaurants.
when the illegal
chains.
migrants come in to the country, we should give them a book of how to forage wild root vegetables instead of illegally trapping salmon.
I think we should be teaching everybody that,
Or
because there's
just-
free food everywhere
True.
if you can educate yourself and look.
That's true too.
There is. There's
No,
medicine
that's so
everywhere.
true.
And everything's timely. Like everything is beautifully timed when it comes in. Nature knows and it provides.
Yeah, actually, it's really neat because my bees, which are in the garden, are sons of bitches, for sure. It's been a love-hate relationship with them, but no, but it's been interesting because they're obsessed with the sunflowers now. And it's weird that they bloom so late. So all summer, think of everything that the bees had, and then in the fall, if I don't have sunflowers, then they just have really goldenrod and a few other things, right, to get nectar from. But with the abundance of sunflowers that we have, they're all over the sunflowers and they're pushing it back another month. So I know guys that don't have access to sunflowers, and their honey harvest is August 1st. But when you have sunflowers, we could be pushing that. I could have put, another, if I had a huge colony, I probably, and more sunflowers, I probably could have put double the boxes on, because you get another 4 to 6 weeks, if not more, out of the bees, because they're still going crazy. Like those sunflowers are still abundant. So they're still feeding off of them. So
cool.
That's already 6 weeks off of August 1st, right? When he did his nectar.
And it tastes different when there's sunflower nectar in there versus if there is no sunflowers, they'd be using goldenrod. It's all the beautiful, bright colored yellow, fluffy kind of flowers, which people think is ragweed, but it's not. It's actually the antidote for ragweed. But they will harvest, pollinate all that as well.
Yeah, it's
which changes the flavor of honey.
Yeah, it's not you'd rather have honey from sunflowers. It's better tasting than ragweed, but nevertheless, I mean, goldenrod. Nevertheless, you'd take it. Like I would take it over nothing. It's like I've had it. It's not like you can taste the difference.
Yeah.
But if I'm choosing over no honey, I'll take the goldenrod honey.
I'm really excited for when we can harvest honey here, because they are pollinating all of our own land and surrounding area. And so wherever they're going and bringing back is also, and then we ingest that, that's also helping us with allergies and adapting to our environment, which is what all of us should be, I think, taking in, because, I mean, we don't have allergy issues. And why are so many people having such crazy allergy issues?
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge, besides intestinal issues, because I think that originates in the intestines, but lack of exposure to your microbiome.
Definitely.
To the biome around you, and breathing in the different air-filled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. Like my dad and his partner, she's always got crazy allergies, but I know for a fact, I know she doesn't go anywhere. She doesn't do very much. So if she went on hikes and on walks and exposed herself in the forest and did more of that, instead of avoiding, she avoids. So instead of avoiding everything, then you'd be starting to.
Well, when we can feel anything coming on, I'll go into our back and just take really deep breaths. Just like breathe it all in, and then just to help me clear out what I need to get rid of.
That in the sauna. I can pretty much guarantee that we don't get sick.
The sauna's been an interesting thing because so transitioning from autumn to winter, we are starting to get natural cold exposure with the change in weather. Because our body's naturally trying to adapt to the shift in the change of season, which is healthy for us. We want that kind of juxtaposition, or the contrast between the cold mornings, hot days, cold nights. We want to start to adjust to the kind of polarizing of temperatures. But having the contrast therapy with the sauna and the cold plunge, we're adapting to the changes in weather so much easier. And if for anybody who lives basically indoors, you're not getting that natural exposure to the shift in weather that our bodies naturally need to adjust. You're keeping your body at, a certain degree range and then complain about, oh, I can't handle cold. I don't like cold. I don't like cold. But, well, you never expose yourself to cold. Your body adapts to whatever you expose it to or don't expose it to.
Yeah, it's true. The other night, like I get these really bad, like cold, I don't know what episodes in my body, right? Whatever you want to call it, where I go
The
like
shivers.
I just can't. I'm just all of a sudden I'm freezing cold. And the funny thing is that it becomes such a regular part of my life, but over the summer, it was like non-existent almost, unless there was a few nights that if I really overdo it, then
That happened after your head injury.
Yeah.
And so it's related to your stress response.
yeah. So if
when
I
that
really
happens.
overdo it, then
Yeah.
it would come on even in the summer.
Yeah.
But I've really been managing that
Yeah.
since we moved here. So, but I found it interesting that the other night when it was one of the colder nights for the first time, and we went into the sauna and cold plunge, I had an episode, and I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot about this, but how did I fight it? I stayed in the cold plunge and breathed through it,
Right.
and then got out. And then when we were in last night, I didn't have an episode, and it was cooler last night than it was the night before.
So were you regulating your nervous system and building cold tolerance?
Yeah, I don't know, probably.
Probably both, right?
Yeah. Either way, I was working through it versus just running back into the hot.
Which is your flight response,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I'll walk in bare feet in the snow in the mornings to ground myself and connect back to the Mother Earth. And that was also great cold exposure for my feet and like now it doesn't bug me. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, thank God, because she used to be such a pussy about her cold feet. It was so
I had,
annoying.
Yeah, like I had
Raynoids,
Raynoids,
yes,
which
yeah.
is basically your body can't adapt to cold because I never exposed it to
But
cold.
some doctor, one time gave her the diagnosis, right? Oh, you have Raynoids. That's Raynoids, right? And then you become like, oh, well,
I accepted that. I accepted
Yeah,
that.
I can't be in the cold long because I have Raynoids. I remember her saying that to me, and I'd be like, I think it's your gay bogs, actually. Like, I think those are the problem.
She didn't like those boots.
I hate those boots. Bogs suck. If you wear bogs and you listen to this podcast, time to fucking get rid of them. They are so gay. You're gayer than me if you wear bogs. That's what I have to say about that.
They are so practical.
They're not practical because they don't keep your feet warm.
Well,
because,
they were easy to put on. That's why I like them.
well, fine. And they're great. Like, they might be a good rain boot, even though they have neoprene on the side. So they leak. Like, I don't understand
That's true.
what the point of them is. They seem ugly and they're not practical, and they don't keep your feet warm, nor do they keep them dry if you go up past your ankles. Anyway, it's not a bash bogs episode, but I'm just saying that once you stopped being a victim to the diagnosis and started to do the cold
Cold
therapy,
exposure. Yeah.
then it
They went away.
literally went away.
Again, if we don't expose ourselves to things, we'll adapt to not being able to handle certain things.
It's just really interesting.
It's fascinating.
Really interesting.
It's fascinating. We can see that in so many different ways. The hot and cold is just one aspect of building tolerance to something.
Right.
Stressing ourselves to tolerate discomfort.
Right.
And it's so good, and we'll do it all year round. And I mean, I don't think we got sick at all last year, and
no,
we were just in the sauna. I mean, nature provides everything that you need, right? You can make, what are those? You can have like elderberry syrup. You can have all the natural remedies, echinacea. You can have what are those? The gross drinks. Remember? No, it's you
like
mix
the cough syrup.
It's kind of like you take a swig of it every day.
Oh, oil of oregano?
No.
That too, though.
It's mixed with apple cider vinegar, and you make your concoction with, like lemon, and you put horseradish in it.
Oh, fire cider.
Fire cider.
Oh, God.
So all these
Actually,
kind of like
that's
immune
true.
boosting
That's true.
properties,
Yeah.
right?
Whenever one of us feels sick, Jen says, have a sip of this, and you just take a shot of it, and
Kills everything.
well, it'll just, makes you barf anyway.
I don't mind it. It's pungent.
Ew, that's gross.
It doesn't bug
It's
me.
so gross. I have to, close my nose.
But here's my thought around sickness, though. Sickness and dis-ease. I don't yes, we can use all these natural remedies just as much as we can use also allopathic remedies. But I think at the root cause of them is more of a vibrational mismatch. So our vibration, our alignment is disconnected in some way. And even because this is the element of water, and the waters of our body can become imbalanced, which is why we get maybe more inflammation. And so we need more cooling properties to help bring our body back into balance. But why does it become imbalanced? Why am I creating so much heat in my body? Why am I, well, maybe I'm always freaking angry. Why am I always starting fights with people? What is the emotional root of that?
Is she saying something about, is this about me?
No, I'm just going on a tangent right now. Because I love natural remedies. I love herbalism. You know that. Like I have like my pharmacy in the house. And
I built these beautiful shelves in the house, and like, it's not that the medicine isn't beautiful and helpful. It's just like, you need something in a pinch. Like, I've cut myself and I need the yarrow.
Yeah.
I need the yarrow. I have to go through 74 jars to find what
I'm trying to make it more visible so you
What
can
I'm
just
looking
see,
for.
and then yeah.
So by the time I can find the yarrow, I've bled out. and
That's dramatic.
and I'm on the floor.
I'm usually the one grabbing the yarrow for you.
She's with a client. I don't want to disturb her, so I'm just like laying
Where's
on
the
the floor in
yarrow?
the kitchen. I'm just
Anyways, yes, okay. Actually, you made a really good point, because if we have like these small acute injuries or something like that, we need yarrow as a blood coagulant and antimicrobial, like natural disinfectant. We have all these kind of like ready resources available to us, which Earth provides us.
yeah.
God bless it. It's wonderful. We need and we have it. It's just people don't know natural first aid. So if you're listening and you want to look more into natural first aid, do that. Smart.
Yeah.
The other aspect, though, on a deeper level of something that manifests physically over time is like a lot of dis-ease in our body or illnesses in our body. And I think a lot of that has to do with our vibration. And if we are thinking poor thoughts about being sick, then we're going to be sick. If we're always in stress, we're creating stress in our body gets stressed out, which is why we get ill.
Right.
Right? A lot of these physical manifestations of illness and dis-ease are stemming from the root of how we're living, how we're thinking, what emotions we're suppressing. And so we have to kind of go to the root of those aspects, because we can we can treat lots of different things through natural remedies, even like herbalism, yes, and maybe sound healing and Rife machines and all that kind of stuff we could use. But I think at the end of the day, if you don't know how to change your own vibration, you're going to stay stuck in low frequencies that continue to perpetuate dis-ease.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting caught in a ruminating thought that doesn't serve me, but I'm creating, like an example is I'm scared of getting sick. Somebody sneezed on me. And now I'm like worried I'm going to get sick. Well, now I'm manifesting sickness. I'm literally creating my own sickness. And so I have to raise my vibration, which means I need to come back into prayer. I need to shift out of fear and come in back into a state of homeostasis with myself and centering myself to know that I have everything that I need in my body. I have every possible gift that I need in order to be well, and just to trust in that. And my vibration comes up. Just like when I said, you got a headache, take a mushroom microdose, because it will just bring your vibration up, and sickness and disease can't live in high vibration.
Or the old book says, headache.
Weed, 60 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
And some.
It said indica cannabis.
That's right.
So
yeah.
it specified the strain.
I was gonna say I remember in 2020 when I traveled to Florida, Came back and it was around Christmas time. My whole family ostracized me and told me that I definitely have COVID and I need to stay home alone. And I was on the couch and I'm like, am I sick? Like just the thoughts of like, do I have COVID? Am I sick? And I had to like talk myself off the edge. No, I'm fine.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm good. And I didn't have COVID and I was fine. But it was just like the thoughts, like you could see how the spiraling.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they put Contagion on that week, we watched it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
as soon as I watched Contagion, I was like,
It plants
my
a
God.
seed into your psyche.
100%.
Actually, it's funny that you say that because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was very fearful and I was scared because I wasn't feeling well. And then I went to the testing center and I realized I was waiting in the line of the testing center and I realized in that moment, this is pretty fucked up. I'm actually my stress is creating my sickness right now. I'm good. I'm going home. But the amount of people that went to those testing centers that were just completely in a state of fear. So that's why your emotional level, if you're in fear and stress, you're manifesting more sickness and disease and over a lifetime of that.
Can we also just like mention how, if you could think about it, like if you're really sick, okay, like think about the times that you're really sick and you've got the like legit flu, COVID or the flu, whatever it is, doesn't matter. If you're in that state, do you really want to drive to the nearest testing center, which wasn't near? It was far. To us, it was near because it was in our fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, on the other side of Oxford, but like, and there were people around the block that would have to wait hours if they were ever even seen. And I'm thinking, this is when we were in a disagreement about the situation and I'm going to get tested. And I was like, okay, like whatever. And when she came back, I was like, you know how Trump posted on this thing the other day, 0 and 2, like 0 and 2 for Trump. That's what I was like, ding, ding, 0 and 2. Cause first it was Black Lives Matters. and then it was when she came back from the testing without having been tested. Now, if she had have been tested, my God, she would have come back with, like, if she had had that thing shoved up into her brain, anyway. So it's good that
I
she
love you,
didn't.
my guides. My guides helped me that day.
Oh
100%.
man. But that was funny when she came home because I'm like, if you're really sick, the last thing in the world that you want to do right now is be sitting in your car. And you know the funny that most of these people would be standing because I would walk that way or ride my bike. I'm not going to pretend I was running because I wasn't. And you'd see them and they were like on their phones standing outside of their cars. Like, oh, yeah, you're really sick with fucking COVID. You're really dying. Oh, yeah, you need a vent. Oh, yeah. Like, shut up. You're on your fucking cell phone in the middle of my neighborhood. Get the fuck out of here and go home. You just don't want to be at work. And they had to get a test, which was so stupid. It should have just been like, hey, I don't feel good. Stay home.
Rest.
Because all you're doing is making all these people that don't feel good be around each other. Even though you're saying 6 feet apart, it doesn't matter if it's airborne. Remember, now we know that 6 feet apart was made up. Fauci made it up. So it didn't matter. If it's airborne, it's airborne. And so people shouldn't be out gathering in one big spot to do testing in a residential neighborhood. It was at a community center. So in a place where, hold on, in between two schools. That's the other whole thing. Literally in between two schools. So you're having literally thousands of sick people line up on the road, standing outside of their cars in between two schools to test to see if they have the deadly virus. Make it make sense. Yeah.
That was part of my awakening, was sitting in the car waiting and then going, what? Wait a minute.
You're like, I'd rather be home with Jess watching you.
Yeah, like if I don't feel good, I'm just going to go home. Like,
what am I doing?
It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Yeah. Yeah. So
anyway, did you have anything else that you wanted to
Well, I
cover?
thought maybe I would just say for maybe like for the parents listening, I wrote down a couple ideas just to help them with the transition because not everybody lives and works for themselves on a homestead and has this deep connection to nature like we do. and many are in that rat race, that 9 to 5, and their kids are in school, and all their energy is now surging and going up. And I was just thinking about some tips to help them with the transition for autumn.
What do you got? Let's go.
All right. Well, adjusting to a new schedule that works for you. So mainly this is more time boundary focus because our daughter has a regimented schedule that we can't change or adjust. Well, I mean, we can, but we want to like primarily try to keep her on that routine, which means I have to adjust my routine. So being able to be in a state of ebb and flow and adjusting what I need to do to take care of myself rather than being in resistance because my routine's different.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to let go of the quiet morning and embrace a busier morning or a louder morning.
Right.
I need to let go of trying to force a certain outcome in the morning, like the routine to go smoothly, everything to the lunch to packing goes great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the dogs are good. Like I
Yeah.
need to let go of that being perfect.
Almost
and
like embrace
smooth.
the chaos. Not that it's chaotic, but embrace that.
Just to embrace it, just to embrace the life change, just to embrace the sounds in the morning instead of getting irritated, just witness them.
Yeah, although you probably don't sleep in a basement of 100-year-old house with floors that creak every step anybody takes, every move they make. You probably don't. So the next time you're like, yeah, say to your husbands, let's do it. Let's sell everything, get a tiny house and move. And be like, I don't know, just think twice.
It's an adjustment, and this is the season for a change. So learning to be in a state of flow with the change, just like the winds of change, learning to be to honor that process rather than try to resist or control or manipulate it. You're just learning to shift internally, which is what autumn is to bring more awareness inward and to reflect and to think about what do I need to do to change how I respond, to change maybe how much time I want to give to certain things. So my time boundaries are really helpful, especially during this time of transition, is to say maybe you're winding down. Maybe, yeah, my daughter wants to be super social. The kids want to be super social, but it doesn't mean that I have to be. Right? Does they want to take on these maybe extra hobbies? That's okay, but does that work for the family? Do I have to say yes to absolutely everything? No, I think that's a part of a parenting problem right now is that parents are overloading themselves and their children with all these extra activities that they don't have time to be in their parasympathetic nervous system. They're all just constantly activated. And so learning to also set boundaries for the family. Right? To say, no, we're just gonna go slow. We're not gonna fill our schedules every day. We're going to have more quality time together, and maybe we're going to have more bonfires right now.
Yeah. And more boundaries as far as electronics. What time? How much can they use them?
Yeah.
When do they get turned off? Where do they put them at night? Even the most honest of kids are on their devices when they shouldn't be at nighttime if you don't confiscate them, if you don't take them away. If you let them have their device, then they're going to use it.
And that also stems from the parents also have to role model that.
Yeah.
Right? So if parents are just sitting there on their devices, then you're just saying for the kids to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so getting into a new evening routine and thinking about what does that look like? Where can everybody put their devices down? Can everybody just find opportunity to reconnect? The reason why a lot of families struggle or people struggle with not being able to sleep and settle is because they're not connecting. They're not tuning in. They are overstimulated. They rush from one activity to the next, and there's no attunement with maybe parent and child. Where they can have things start to slow down. They can have the ability to reflect on their day, to process their day, to communicate whatever it is that they're still holding on to that they need to let go of, and to start to settle their nervous systems down for relaxation. If you maintain high blue screen usage right to the very end of your day, and then you need to fall asleep to the TV, you're literally keeping your system activated until you can just pass out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're literally keeping yourself so disconnected from yourself and from others, literally living in virtual reality.
Yeah, I mean, I know that everybody doesn't have a sauna, but I didn't always have a sauna either. And walking at night was always a really good thing to do if you're unsettled or if you're someone that
Yeah.
needs to unwind differently, like because you've been watching TV or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then walk. But doing something like that before.
Or playing a game, like we would play chess. Like in the winter, we're
Chess,
transitioning
yeah.
more into indoor activities. And so also this is a really good time for you to reflect on what are some indoor like crafts or activities or little hobbies that I can do indoors. What are some books that I want to read? What are some things I want to write? This is a time where we start to do things inside. And this is traditionally where we're starting to transition to even more storytelling and connecting around, the dinner table more and around the bonfire and spending more quality time together inside. So, I mean, that was a lot I kind of went on a rant. I think I got what I needed to say out. But I want to add one thing. Okay. There's an interesting paradox that I read because I was reading some like prayers, like autumn prayers and stuff like that. And one thing that I came across was this beautiful paradox that our world is an unending season of change, and God is unchanging, stable, and permanent. What a paradox. We are constantly in an unending season of change, and God is unchanging, stable, and permanent. So in the medicine wheel, it's a circle, just like everything we believe is unending. It's a circle. And the seasons we go through, this 4 seasons, the 4 parts of the circle, and but God is whole. God is all of that. But we're always in fluctuation. We're always in changing. But God doesn't change.
Well, almost to me, it feels like as chaotic as we can be, it's being held.
Yeah.
Ever so calmly.
Right. Right.
So it's like this whirlwind inside.
Right.
But
and
just this, yeah.
Just because it feels chaotic doesn't mean that it is chaotic. Right? That's our inner storm that we have to settle.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a lesson
that's
for me is like just because it feels chaotic in the mornings because people are in the house now and it's changing doesn't mean that it is chaotic. It means that we're all together in a different way. And I can just embrace this.
Embrace the new loud way.
Yeah.
The new loud, creaky, noisy way.
Yeah. And then I change my schedule so that I have my quiet time for reflection after.
Yeah.
Instead of starting it with that. So anyways, a lot of, this is a time where we have to surrender to the ebb and flow of the change of the season and the change of our schedules and the change of the sun and the change of the trees and the change of where we are in the matrix system to also our own energetic body. And this is a good time to start to reflect on what do you need to change to help you move into that state of flow and less resistance so that you can feel more at peace and step more into the higher version of you. Or, as I like to say, walk your highest timeline.
Perfect.
Aho.
Aho.
Aho.